Hello all, welcome to this News Today series. This document is prepared by Vision IS and today we are discussing this 26 July 2025. Without any waste of time, let's go to the first topic. Today it's going to be a little lengthy because there are much more important topics and concepts that need to be covered. So yeah, have some patience. First topic, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting directs intermediaries to block 25 websites hosting obscene content. So this topic is about posting online these obscene content. So first let us try to understand what is obscenity. Obscenity refers to the content that is offensive, disgusting or morally degrading by society's accepted standards. That is refers to as obscenity. It can be related to women or any other thing as such, which is degrading to society's accepted standards. That will be obscene. So these obscene content has to be removed. That is the directive given by Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Okay, Ministry directed the intermediaries. What are these intermediaries? Intermediaries are nothing but the social media platforms, such as, for example, you can say Instagram is a social media intermediary, or YouTube, like that. They asked the intermediaries to remove unlawful information under IT Act 2000 and also IT Rules 2021, which are guiding for this intermediary guidelines and digital media ethics code. These websites were in violation of various laws such as Section 67(a) of IT Act 2000. One must not be confused with Section 66 of IT Act, which is related to Shreya Singhal case. That is different, and these are different. These two are related to obscenity, posting obscene content, sexual content online. Section 294 of BNS 2023, Section 4 of Indecent Representation of Women Prohibition Act 1986. And why there is a need to ban obscene content? Obviously, society is guided by such a certain kind of morality and decency that must not be hampered. That is one reason, but that is mentioned in this article 19.2, because everybody has this freedom of speech and expression, but it has got its reasonable restrictions. Those are nothing but this in the interest of decency and morality. And we have one case law regarding this, Ranjit D. Udeshi, State of Maharashtra. In that, Supreme Court upheld the conviction under Section 292 of IPC, holding that obscenity does not enjoy protection under free speech. Obviously, in under free speech, one is not free to post anything that is obscene. That is upheld by Supreme Court. In which case? Ranjit D. Udeshi case. Remember that and try to replicate in your answers. And protection of women and children, understandable. And obscenity erodes cultural and moral values. Fine. But here there is one more beautiful principle which is mentioned in this topic that can be used in your GS4 ethics paper. That is nothing but this Mills-Harm principle. What does it say? It permits limiting liberty. Liberty is the freedom to do whatever we want, but that liberty must be having some limits. When only it causes harm to others or degrades societal well-being, then only that liberty can be limited. That is according to what this Mills-Harm principle. So whenever you are writing any GS4 answer, you must somehow in your answers inculcate this principle, and it will look really beautiful, really insightful. Yeah. And next topic is PM of India visits Maldives, marking 60th anniversary of India-Maldives diplomatic relations. What's so special about it? PM always he goes to all the countries. Anyway, we have 59 visa free countries, right? Yesterday we've seen through this Henley Passport Index, but our Modi has a visa free to every country. Jokes apart. But what's so special about PM of India visiting Maldives? That's because after recent elections in Maldives in 2023, President Muzai have been elected. This guy, under his leadership, there was a campaign called as India Out campaign. His political party conducted this India Out campaign. It means that Maldivian people or that political party, they are not very much happy with India's involvement in Maldives in whatever might manner, military stations or whatnot. So India Out campaign was run by that party only. But now what's happened? In 2023, they have run this India Out campaign. In 2025, what happened? They visited, so they asked Prime Minister of India to visit Maldives. See how the tables have turned here, and let us see what happened actually. So in 2023, this new president of Maldives, he went for China's support instead of India, which usually happen, right? So what happened? China usually they did not support Maldives, and these Maldivians, they slowly realized that India is better one when compared to China. So slowly the relation between India and Maldives are getting better. Mutual benefit is always there, right? What are the key outcomes of the visit? Signing of the agreements on line of credit of 4,850 crores to Maldives. Who will not accept that, right? To reduce Maldives' annual debt repayment on Indian government funded loans, and also for enabling UPI in Maldives. Term of reference of proposed free trade agreement have also been signed, and 6 memorandum of understanding were exchanged in the field of fisheries and aquaculture, meteorology, digital public infrastructure, so on and so forth, and inauguration of such things such as this 3,300 social housing units in Hulhumalay under India's buyers credit facilities in this Addu city, and also 2 Arogya Mitra health cubes, BHISM sets, have been launched in Maldives. Okay, and what is the significance of Maldives for India? Geopolitical, obviously, key to its neighborhood first policy and vision Mahasagar, and strategic, geographic position like a toll gate between Western Indian Ocean choke points. Western Indian Ocean choke points, what are those? Gulf of Aden and Strait of Hormuz. Strait of Hormuz and Gulf of Aden. And Eastern Indian Ocean choke point, Strait of Malacca, here Indonesia, Strait of Malacca is there. So between these two and these two straits, what do we have? Maldives. It acts as a toll gate. That is why it is important. And geo-economic, 80% of India's energy imports transit through this SLOCs. SLOC is nothing but the sea lines of communication. This part, and security, counter terrorism, piracy, etc. Countering China's ambitious string of pearls in Indian Ocean region. In response to this string of pearls of China, we have come up with the necklace of diamonds. Let us see both of them first. So these are the string of pearls strategy of China. See here, these dotted lines here or string of pearls. Hong Kong, the South China Sea region, Cambodia, here Myanmar, and then Sri Lanka. We have this Hambantota port, which China has taken lease for 99 years, and then Maldives and this Gwadar port. All these are the string of pearls set up by China. To counter this, India has come up with what? Necklace of diamonds. These are the diamonds that you can see, necklace of diamonds. Okay, this is not related to the topic, but at least they have mentioned string of pearls, so you must know how India is going to counter that. India is going to counter through this necklace of diamonds. If you want to read more about it, just go through that separately. Otherwise, the video will be very long. Now, yeah, this is about the India and Maldives relations briefly. And the next topic is first week of monsoon session washed out amid disruptions in Parliament. This is not related to monsoon as such, I mean to say rain, but it is related to rainy season sessions of Parliament. Parliament conducts 3 sessions, right? Out of that, we are talking about monsoon session. It means that they have not actually well performed in this session. That's what they are trying to say here. 17th Lok Sabha functioned for 88% of its scheduled time, and Rajya Sabha worked for 73%. It's like if you are a college student and if you are having an attendance of 73%, or imagine having an attendance of less than 50%, what will happen? Condonation, permission from principal, and everything will happen, right? Here nothing, no as thing such as that, but that accountability has to have within the Parliament itself. In 1950s, the Indian Parliament met for 120 to 140 days every year, but now the number is ranging between 60 to 70 days only. What they are going to decide the future of our citizens in 60 to 70 days? Even preparing for civils also, we are getting more than, even for mains also, we are getting around 90 days. And they are deciding the fate of India between the 60 to 70 days. And what are the issues with parliamentary disruptions? Weakening democratic accountability. People will lose trust in parliament itself, and also monetary cost is there. Cost of running parliament is around 2.5 lakh per minute. Can you imagine, per minute? And eroding public trust, as I already told you. Measures that can be adopted to address parliamentary disruptions. What are the measures that can be adopted? All the ethical values can be inculcated here. Accountability, transparency, integrity, honesty, all these can be inculcated here. Apart from that, ensuring dedicated time for opposition. This is a very new specific point other than the generic points I have mentioned earlier. So, what they are trying to say is that opposition must be given a dedicated time and they must be allowed to decide the agenda of the session. See, for example, in British Parliament, they set aside 20 days each year for the opposition to decide the agenda. It's a really beautiful concept, right? And also, if you look at here in this my main notes here, what are the improvements? Improvements here: strengthening the opposition to set the agenda. In USA, they take 22 days. In UK, as we already discussed, 20 days respectively. That must be followed in India. It's very far-fetched. To include a leader of opposition party in a search committee itself is a big task here, and imagine giving the opposition to decide the agenda. It will create a chaos. It must not happen actually. And strengthening ethics committee, annual parliamentary calendar must be set up, just like UPSC has got its calendar. Like annual parliamentary calendar must also be there. Okay. Reasons for disruption: anti-defection law forces MPs to follow party whips. Party whip is something which disrupts the party democracy itself. Opposition parties uses it to gain greater publicity and visibility in public. Disruption arises from controversial national and regional issues dominating the public attention. Increase in political parties means less debate time and more disruptions over unlisted issues. This has got itself its own problems. That is another main question. Yeah. But that's about it. And the next topic is Indian Railways successfully tests nation's first hydrogen powered coach at integral coach factory. If you break it down, Indian Railways it has successfully tested nation's first hydrogen powered coaches. So that coach will run through this hydrogen power only. So yeah, this is part of this Hydrogen for Heritage initiative of 2023. They are trying to deploy 35 hydrogen powered trains, and this hydrogen powered trains will feature 1200 horsepower engine, and it is also the world's most powerful hydrogen propulsion system developed for rail transport. These key facts please remember, and it is a key milestone in India's national green hydrogen mission, which has got its aim to produce 5 million metric tons by 2030 hydrogen. So what are the benefits of hydrogen as an alternative fuel? Green hydrogen has high energy density than batteries. If energy density is more, it means that it can store more energy. Okay, more the density, more the storage capacity. So green hydrogen has this higher energy density than batteries and can be effectively stored, transported in large quantities. Hydrogen fuel cells trains emit only water vapor. Generally, fossil fuels emit different types of pollution gases, but this hydrogen fuel cells only emit water vapor as a byproduct. And replacing one diesel train with hydrogen can cut emissions roughly equivalent to annual CO2 output of 400 cars. It's a really good one. But what are the challenges of it? Current limitations of green hydrogen production. Right now, the hydrogen we are producing is actually a grey hydrogen, not a green hydrogen. We'll discuss it later, what are the types of hydrogen and how they are formed. But right now, remember that we are not actually producing in huge amount green hydrogen, but actually we are producing grey hydrogen. Why? Because India does not have high capacity proton exchange membrane based electrolyzer plant required to produce green hydrogen. For producing green hydrogen, what do we require? Proton exchange membrane, PEM we call it. Proton exchange membrane is required to produce green hydrogen. That is not present in India, high capacity one. And also infrastructure inconsistency is there with Indian Railways, and there is no definite roadmap on the extent of hydrogen adoption in Indian Railways. These are all the challenges in adoption of hydrogen as an alternative fuel in Indian Railways. But now come to what is this Grey hydrogen. Grey hydrogen is formed through steam methane reforming. Steam methane reforming is nothing new. We already dealt it in a previous class only. See, there are two terms here, steam plus methane CH4. These two, steam methane reforming, that is done. And what is obtained? Hydrogen gas is obtained. Along with that, what are obtained? Carbon monoxide is also released. That is a pollutant, right? So this is not a cleaner way to produce hydrogen gas. That is why it is called as grey hydrogen. Grey hydrogen. If it is a cleaner way to produce hydrogen, we call it as green hydrogen. We will see types of green hydrogen next. See the reaction here. Methane, when reacted with water, what will form? Carbon monoxide and 3H2. Hydrogen is formed. This is also nothing but, what is this? Syngas, right? If you can remember from previous class, syngas is produced. Next, what are the types of hydrogen? Let us take a brief time here to understand what this diagram is all about. This will be helpful in your preparation in ways you cannot even imagine. Right. Let us break this down into two parts. First one, the hydrogen is produced through electrolysis. That electrolysis, you see, the hydrogen is produced by using electricity, and bottom ones, hydrogen is produced through using fossil fuels. This is the difference between these two. If the production of hydrogen is done through electricity and that electricity is produced through renewable based, then it is green hydrogen. If that electricity is produced through nuclear energy, that will be pink hydrogen. If that electricity used to produce hydrogen and that electricity is produced using mixed origin grid energy, then it will be yellow hydrogen. And greenhouse gas footprint, see this, minimal, minimal and medium. This is about the electricity, using of electricity for production of hydrogen, green, pink and yellow. And by using fossil fuels we can extract hydrogen, and it will be different types of hydrogen here. But here greenhouse gas footprint will be a little bit higher. For example, see blue hydrogen, autothermal reforming, steam methane reforming or coal gasification plus carbon is captured here. CCS means carbon capture and sequestration. That is why greenhouse gas impact is low, because the carbon produced is captured again. That is blue hydrogen. And if the fossil fuel used here is natural gas, and also method used is pyrolysis, then it will be turquoise hydrogen. And if the fossil fuel used is natural gas, methane, and also the process is steam methane reforming, then it will be grey hydrogen. If a brown coal, black coal is used and the process is coal gasification, it will be brown hydrogen, black hydrogen. This is the types of hydrogen which is very much important for your exam. If you want, pause this video, take a screenshot, read this and understand it. Yeah, and now coming to this electrolysis. So what this PEM, proton exchange membrane, proton is nothing but this H plus ions only, right? If water is sent inside for electrolysis, it will split into H plus protons, oxygen and also electrons. And as we know that cathode is negatively charged, anode is positively charged, and H plus ions they will get attracted to this cathode, because cathode is negatively charged, and H plus ions are concentrated or accumulated near this cathode. And also we have this electrons. H plus electrons gives rise to what? Hydrogen gas. 2H plus 2 electrons gives rise to hydrogen gas, which is neutral. It's an element. Like that, hydrogen is accumulated at cathode and it is taken out. This is this this is done through this proton exchange membrane. Here proton is nothing but H plus ions. So if you see the reactions here, the same thing is replicated here. We have anode here, cathode here. H2 will be split into like this, 2H plus plus, half O2 plus 2 electrons. And if you see here, hydrogen will be going through this membrane and it will attract it towards this cathode. And here in cathode we have this 2H plus ions, and also we have electrons here, right? These electrons react with H plus ions to form hydrogen. This hydrogen is collected near this cathode, H2. This is what the whole process is. And can you guess what kind of hydrogen it will be here? It will be green hydrogen, because there is no byproduct, no pollutants, nothing. We are not using steam methane reforming, where the byproduct will be carbon monoxide. That's it. I hope I made some sense here. And the next topic is Parliamentary Standing Committee releases report on regional rapid transit system. So I'll try to conclude this topic here. Here we are trying to look at this regional rapid transit system, which is nothing but having this metro only in urban cities. Why? Because more than 40% of urban population to live in urban areas by 2030. Congestion will be there, pollution will be there, urban heat islands will be coming. So what we need to have? Regional rapid transit system. That's what the whole topic is all about. For that, what we have supporting government initiatives such as Smart Cities Mission, Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, all these are helpful. Recommendation by the committee: expansion of this regional rapid transit system is setting up of unified metropolitan transport authority, and also plan big metro cities in regional context, and also multimodal integration. What is this multimodal integration? Airport, railway station, bus stands, etc. That is this regional rapid transit system. Okay, right. Let us go to the next topic. Supreme Court issues guidelines to address student suicides and mental health in educational institutions. In this, Sukhdev Saha and State of Andhra Pradesh court issued 15 interim guidelines under Article 32 and Article 141. So what this guidelines is all about? These guidelines to address growing crisis of student suicides and mental health. If you can remember from previous lectures, we already dealt with student suicides, which accounted for 7.6% of the total suicides, right? If you can remember that. So here the court is giving these 15 interim guidelines under what? Article 32 and Article 141, because every life is important. Every person have this right to life, and it is a fundamental right. Fundamental rights are imposed under this Article 32, right? So that is why Supreme Court is able to give guidelines under Article 32 to impose these fundamental rights. That is one thing. And what is the other article here? Article 141. Article 141 says that if there is no guidelines regarding that, Supreme Court can give the guidelines till a new law will come in place. Till the new law come in place, these guidelines will have the full capacity, full role in the administration, and every lower court must follow these guidelines, these laws, right? That is Article 141. Have a look at it if you want more detail about Article 141. And court noted that distress among India's youth points to deeper structural malaise. That's all generic, you can understand that. And this is the data as per this NCRB. 7.6% of all suicides related to student suicides only. 13,000 student suicides, with more than 2,200 directly related to exam failures. So I'm very glad that rarely we come across UPSC aspirants committing suicides. You know, UPSC is all about having very strong mind. You know, people see failures more than success here, but your endurance and your consistency and your dedication which will bring you success. So I'm glad that everybody should have that strong mental capacity, right? And what are the key judicial guidelines issued by Supreme Court? So mandatory mental health policy in educational institutions. It must be aligned with national frameworks like Umeed, Manodarpan, National Suicide Prevention Strategy. That's okay. And we have this Telemanas also. Last time also I discussed that. And also institutions must adopt inclusive, non-discriminatory mental health practices. Okay, non-discrimination must be there. You know, discrimination does not happen here. You know, it will happen OBC, EWS, and also LGBTQ and disabled students as well. Okay, institution must set up confidential reporting systems for sexual assault, ragging, identity-based discrimination, and all these things. And this one is a good point. Supreme Court is asking for reducing exam-centric stress by promoting interest-based career counseling and extracurricular activities. And also in higher education institutions, they have asked to promote more importance to extracurricular activities, sports, mental, all these things, right? If you remember from the previous topics. Yeah, these are the guidelines. And the next topic is president rule. All know Okay, this topic is about president rule which extended in Manipur by another 6 months. So what is the part that is related to it? Part 18, emergency provisions. We have article 352, 356 and 360. But keep that in mind, 358 is important, 359 is important, extremely important. It is related to the restriction of fundamental rights by the president. Go look into that. I'm not going to stress the video more. So grounds for imposition: breakdown of constitutional machinery, article 356, everybody know. Failure to comply with the union directives, that is also you guys know. But article 365 here. And the duration, this is important. Initially for a period of 6 months only. It can be extended for a period of maximum 3 years with parliamentary approval every 6 months. Okay, right. As I already told you, you can remember, separation of power concept here. Legislative, executive and judiciary is there. Here who are deciding? Parliamentary approval must be there, because there is a check on executive arbitrary power, because president's rule is something overriding the state's power. Imagine center is ruled by some party, state is ruled by some other party. So if that center's party is not happy with the state's party, what they can impose? They can impose president rule. That is arbitrary, but that can be checked by legislature. So that is why who will approve this parliamentary president rule? Parliament will approve for every 6 months. For how much period? 3 years. That remember. That brings us to the end of that topic. And the next topic is Atal Pension Yojana. It crossed a significant milestone by surpassing 8 crore total gross enrollments. Atal Pension Yojana. This is about pension. Who are eligible? 18 to 40 years of people who are not income taxpayers. They are eligible for this Atal Pension Yojana. Guaranteed monthly pension, lifelong pension between 1000 to 5000 from age 60. Remember it. What is the ministry here? Ministry of Finance, and implementing agency is PFRDA, Pension Fund Regulatory Development Authority. Next, mycorrhizal fungi. Remember it, mycorrhizal fungi, very important. Myco, the keyword is related to fungi only, fungus. Underground atlas by Spun recently highlighted the need for conservation of mycorrhizal fungi. It revealed that 90% of these fungi hotspots are outside protected areas. So that is why there is a need for protection of these mycorrhizal fungi. Why these are important? Because these are symbiotic relation with most of the plant species, with more than 80% of the plant species on earth, and make as much as 30% of the living microbial biomass in the soil. What are the importance here? It helps the plant soak in nutrients such as phosphorus from soil and play an important role in carbon sequestration. Okay, so try to include mycorrhizal fungi in your environment carbon sequestration point as well. So really good. Next topic is climate tipping point. Let us discuss this climate tipping point. Tipping point is that we are not tipping anybody here, but these are all critical threshold in a system. Threshold is the maximum limit, and if we exceed that limit, what will happen? It will lead to a significant change in the state of the system, often with an understanding that change is irreversible. If ice is there, ice cap is there, if we are keep on increasing the temperature of the earth, what will happen? Ice will melt, and they are saying that this ice will not form again. That is this climate tipping point. The change is irreversible, and this is definition is given by IPCC. Always try to mention some official body in your answers when you are giving data or definitions. Right. The researchers suggest that extreme marine heat waves of 2023 were driven by climate change only and may signal a climate tipping point. So IPCC identifies several tipping points. Let us see some of the tipping points, such as here Amazon rainforest is there, slowdown of Atlantic circulation, AMOC, if you remember from our first class, I think, Atlantic Meridional Oceanic Circulation. Melting of permafrost is one thing. Permafrost also we have discussed little. So these are the climate tipping points. You see Arctic winter ice collapse, winter warming, if you remember that topic, and Greenland ice sheet loss. Antarctic also loss of ice sheets is there. Amazon rainforest dieback is the problem. If for example, if there is a rainforest will turn into savanna. Savanna is nothing but dry, but rainforest is wet. This change is irreversible. That is this climate tipping point. Okay, yeah, pause this video if you want and take a screenshot and try to read these tipping points if you want, if you feel like necessary. And next topic is E3 countries. See, Iran was recently threatened of snapback sanctions by E3 countries amidst the derail of US-Iran nuclear talks. So let us see the history here, brief history. Actually, this Iran started enriching the uranium. Uranium must be used for nuclear, civil nuclear purpose only, civil nuclear purpose, nuclear energy. For doing that, uranium needs to be enriched. It means that quality of that uranium must be improved. There is certain limit where you can enrich it and use it for civil nuclear purposes. If you enrich it for like maximum more and more percent, it will become weapon grade uranium. Weapon grade uranium. This Iran was doing that only. They are enriching uranium to weapon grade uranium threshold. So US was saying that please don't do it. For that, they have come up with this joint comprehensive plan of action in 2015. And also IAEA used to visit this Iran and see for any enrichment of uranium. But this snapback sanctions come under this joint comprehensive plan of action only. The provisions are that they allow reimposition of sanction against Iran if it violates its nuclear commitments. Now you must have understood a little. So who are asking for these sanctions again on Iran? E3 countries. So what are E3 countries? E3 is an informal foreign and security cooperation agreement between UK, Germany and France. So we have this UNSC, right? UNSC, United Nations Security Council. We have 5 permanent members, we call it as P5. France is there, China is there, USA is there, UK is there, Russia is there. Okay. Out of all these things, here France is there, UK is there and also Germany. These three called as E3 countries. E3 countries. These are all actually these P5 countries were initially nuclear countries. That is why they got this permanent seat in UNSC. Now this France, UK and Germany, actually P5 plus 1 is nothing but P5 countries plus Germany. Now out of all these groups, France, UK and Germany are called as E3 countries. I hope I made some sense here. This E3 informal group, they are trying to impose sanctions on Iran. That is the whole point here. They initially met during 2003 when US attacked Iraq, and also during that time only they wanted to look at this nuclear risk coming from Iran. This is the whole history of this topic. Okay. Next topic. Unmanned aerial vehicle launched precision guided missile launched by DRDO. You understand, unmanned aerial vehicles are nothing but drones only, but we have military grade, normal grade, that ones which use in our tourist places. One guy will be there standing on the edge of a hill and he'll be throwing the drone out and capturing the moments, right? That is normal kind of drone, and we have military grade drones also. That is nothing but this unmanned aerial vehicle launched precision guided missile. This is the missile. It's a very good one. So from this unmanned aerial vehicle drone, we can launch a missile like this. Okay. V3 developed by DRDO. High definition dual channel seeker. All these, nothing too technical must be learnt. It's not useful, trust me. Next topic is cropping. So here we have this crop, we have this pic. It means that we are taking the pictures of crops only. That is the whole point here. Cropping is nothing but collection of real-time observation and photo of crops initiative. It is a mobile app launched by Ministry of Agriculture under PMFBY. What do we do by taking the pictures? To take geotagged pictures of crop for 4 to 5 times during the cycle. We can assess them, we can see the growth, everything can be extracted from that data. How the funding has been done? Fund for Innovation and Technology, FIAT, under PM Fasal Bima Yojana. Remember this, cropping. It's a good initiative. And the next topic is Doklam. Everybody remembers Doklam standoff. We'll go to that. But here the topic is that after Nathula, Sikkim to open Doklam Chola for battlefield tourism. What is this battlefield tourism? If for example historical battles used to happen, for example Panipat is some place, if it is open for tourist visits, then we call it as battlefield tourism. Other example you can take, like in 1990s, 1988 I think, Kargil war happened in Kashmir region. If that place, if it is open for tourist visitations, then we call it as battlefield tourism. So now after Natula pass, Sikkim is opening Doklam and Chola for battlefield tourism as well after 8 years. After 8 years of this India-China standoff. What is the India-China standoff? This is nothing but this Doklam standoff happened in 2017. Yes, 2017 is 8 years ago. So about Doklam, altitude is something. Highly strategic territory, borders of China, Bhutan and India, tri-junction. I will show you the map as well. And significance for India is to protect the Siliguri corridor, which is nothing but this Chicken Necks corridor that links the northeast India with mainland, and also it gives a significant military leverage. Now let us see the map, then you will understand it better. So this is West Bengal and this is Sikkim, sorry, yeah. And where do we have this? Doklam here, and here Natula is also present. That is a Doklam standoff, and these are all the passes that have been made open for battlefield tourism: Chola Pass, Natula Pass and Doklam. Okay, and what is Chicken Neck corridor? Chicken Neck corridor is nothing but this part. It's very small, right? Choke point, Chicken Neck corridor. Most of you might already know by this time. And places in news: Democratic Republic of Congo. If you remember from our first class, we discussed M3 rebels. M3 rebels are from Rwanda country. Rwanda bordered with this DRC only. DRC is nothing but this Democratic Republic of Congo. So DRC government and rebel group M23, March 23 movement under Congo River Alliance signed a declaration of principles in Doha. Who mediated it? Qatar mediated it to pursue peace. So this is what the problem. If you remember the problem there, what is the problem between M3 groups and DRC government? The minerals are not being shared equally, or equity is not maintained there. That is why they are rebelling. So now they have signed this declaration of principles in Doha, mediated by Qatar only. So these are all the political features that you can go through. And remember this: 3/4 of the world's cobalt is produced in DRC. That is the point that you need to remember. And look at the map here. And this is Rwanda. Excuse me. And this is Democratic Republic of Congo, and this is the center part of Africa, but it has its coastal opening to this Atlantic Ocean. So keep that in mind, it's very crucial. You can't remember it in your exam. So DRC also has a coastal region, Atlantic Ocean opening. That brings us to the end of this topic.